Hello everyone, this is the new FPV Dream Machine version 1.3, 1.3 GoPro, 1.4 bottom or top plate, and finally the finished product 1.5. A lot of development went into this frame. This wasn't your typical small, here's an example, here's the FPV manuals Tricopter frame. It's very small, not here to bash frames, and just size comparison to a typical Tricopter frame versus these. I've been working with Luis, who makes these frames. I've been beta testing them, and we've been trying to develop the best FPV Tricopter frame available that is very strong and also has a lot of built-in features that make it really nice. So we started with the 1.3 version right here, and they have you can opt for 2 bottom plates. You can get some that have a gimbal built into it, and I didn't have motors mounts that fit. He didn't know that, Luis didn't know that I had NX 4008 motors that I was planning on using on this frame. So these motor mounts came in, they were too small, and so I had to use my FPV Manuals motor mounts just to get by with this frame. And the problem with that is they're about the same size as this one is, and they didn't really protect the motor. When the motor would hit the ground, or when you make it crash, the motor would hit first and you'd break your motor more than likely, because the NX 4008's bell housing is pretty weak. Here's the first style landing gear. They're very nice, but we have newer styles, so I'll go there later. The yaw system is very simple. It's very easy. I'll show you a more setup one in a minute. So basically we started with this frame and made developments or improvements from here to the 1.3 GoPro version, which has a different bottom plate and a bigger gimbal that would fit a GoPro on it, and also it has a couple more holes and stuff drilled out for mounting more gear and stuff like that. This is a very sloppy frame, I know, trust me. I don't like it either, but I was beta testing these frames, and I knew I was going to be swapping from this one to this one to that one to the next one, so I didn't work on cleanliness on the build. I also have like a Dragon Link on here because I tested it out doing some crazy stuff. So I know it's really sloppy. Don't hate me on that too much on that. This is a FPV Manuals yaw system, and the only reason I have it on here is because, like I said, when I first got, I didn't have a motor mounts. He didn't send me motor mounts that fit my motors, so he later with the GoPro version he sent me this one. Well, I already had this one on a boom already, and I didn't break it yet, so I just left it on this and put the new motor mounts on the front. But this is a 1.3 GoPro. I'm not worried about it too much. We also went from here. We made more development and more needed upgrades, and we had the version 1.4 top plate, which is different from the version 1.5 top plate, but everything else is the same. The bottom plate's the same and everything. But the thing here was you had these holding the booms on. Oops. These would clamp the booms onto the bottom. You have a bolt going through, and this was fine when you're using short booms like this. It's the frame is still pretty rigid and doesn't really flap much because the booms are really short. Well, I wanted to test out longer booms to see if because people are obviously going to do different things. So I had to cover all of the necessary things when I'm beta testing. So I put longer booms on this frame, the 1.4, and I had a lot of flex. This is G10, and it's really strong. I mean, it's pretty hard to bend normally, but with the longer booms, you could see the frame would flop, and it showed the vibes. The version 1.3 only has 2 foam shock absorber mounts for the bottom plate, which helps dampen the vibrations. That's the whole point of this Tricopter, is to have room and dampen vibrations and make it the best frame possible for FPV. That's why it's really big, for tons of room. Anyways, here's the version 1.5, and the improvements we made on this one over the 1.4 is the new motor mounts, or sorry, not motor mounts, the new landing gear mounts. They can fit a 1/2-inch size boom. They have a cutout for that, and they also have a cutout for the typical 3/8 size boom. They're a pretty tight fit, but you get the point. You clamp them in there, and then you just zip tie them down, and they're ready to go. So it's nice to be able to choose 2 different size booms. Also, with the 1.5, you can choose to have the regular standard flat front to, like, you know, mount your GoPro, like that's how I normally fly. Or you can have the gimbal bottom plate, which has this gimbal, which is cool because this one you can either put your normal typical FPV camera in this, and it'll be protected by the cage, or you can take this cage off the front and back and mount the GoPro on it. So you can mount 2 different style cameras on it if you want, which is really nice. Also, the 1.5 version has 6 foam dampening mounts, I guess you could say, to dampen the vibes going to the bottom plate, which you can see here, and that helps out really good. Like, I mean, it's so good. I just mounted my GoPro, just, you know, dirty mounted it straight to here and flew it. Also, the new motor mounts for the 1.5, they have the same clamping style, which makes it really easy for changing out booms, like I said, in case you break one. But that's the only thing you're ever going to break on this is a boom, because this frame is incredibly strong. It's all G10, except for the yaw system is Durlin, which is still really strong. You got a cage around your motors. You can opt for 2 different size cages. You can get a 30mm cage or a 45mm cage that will house the NX4008 motors. All of the motor mounts come with 4 bolt patterns, so you can mount a ton of different motors, you know, pretty much everything onto these. But like I said, the cage protects your motor in case it hits, you know, which is really nice. Also, this I found out when I had the longer booms on the 1.4, if I went like this, the arms would move slightly, and when I would give it full power up and down, it well, up and then drop it, the frame would flex a little bit. So in the version 1.5, I was like, hey, we need to reinforce here, here, and here, and that's what Luis did. He made spars, basically G10 spars, going along here, so you can't bend the frame at all. You can't even bend it. Like, I'm trying really hard. You cannot bend the frame. It's very stiff. Also, we have a single plate now on the bottom that holds the arms, the 2 front arms on, which won't let them flex. And I don't know if you can see this, but this frame is very stiff. I mean, if you were flying anything like this, I mean, you got problems. But it's a very stiff frame. It doesn't flex or anything at all. So that's what you want when you're flying. The really cool thing about this frame is you can make it a T-copter or a traditional Y. But you can he gives you holes here that you can mount. You can drill straight through the boom to hold them solid, to keep them there. I don't do that, but he also gives you holes to put a zip tie around it, so you can zip tie the arm there so it won't move back and forth. But it's nice to use a zip tie because sometimes when you crash, it'll just break the zip tie and the boom will fold back, which is really nice. Even if you want to just transport it and smaller, you can just cut the zip tie, fold the arm back, take it in your car or backpack or whatever you want to do, which is really nice. So you don't have to use the holes that you could drill straight through. I've never used the holes that I've ran a bolt through. I've never done that. I've just used zip ties this whole time, and it's had nothing but great turnouts. Because I've been in a lot of crashes. Like I said, I've been beta testing these frames, so I want to make sure everything that you know is good to go, and that's why we've been through so many different frames. I mean, I've been through 4 frames. We've made tons of modifications, and we finally have a finished product, and it's very nice. I'm telling you, this is the best FPV Tricopter frame out right now. You're not going to get anything better. It has everything you could possibly want. Has all the room you need. As you can see here, this is a very clean build. Obviously, this is the last frame, so I knew I could build it more cleaner than obviously the other one. But this is a good example to show you how much room you have. I mean, the GoPro can sit right here. This is a 4800 milliamp 65C3S Thunder Power battery. That's a big battery. I mean, compared to my hand, that's a pretty big battery. You could fit this on top. You could fit a 6500 on top if you wanted to. I fly it with a 3300 4S, and I'll be upgrading that battery soon to a bigger one because it's got so much room on this frame. You can fly it with, you can have the battery on top, which is good because if your battery's not pulling on the bottom, it won't be pulling on these foam pads, which dampen the vibes. Well, if you have all your foam compressed, then it's not dampening vibes. So you want the battery to go on top here, and then you can put all your other light stuff on the bottom. Like I have the copter control here, the receiver here, the power distribution board is mounted to the top of the bottom, or the bottom of the top frame piece. You can put your video transmitter here if you want. You can put it on top if you want, because you still got tons of room up top, so you can always add stuff on top if you wanted to. But just for example, you can mount this video transmitter here, and then you can put your OSD here, your current sensor here, or your current sensor in the front. It's just got tons of room. It's a very versatile frame to put everything on it. We want to make it so, you know, anybody can throw any motors they want on it, any ESC motor combos. That's why we got 4 different bolt patterns for the motor mounts. You can opt for the bigger cages for if you have a bigger motor, or 30mm size cages if you want for the smaller motors. Battery mounts on top, very nice. Like I said, this is just a great frame all around. I mean, it's not the typical small tricopter frame that, you know, everybody's been using for a while now. This was something completely built from the ground up and developed, and you know, I beta tested all the frames, and each one I just improved and improved and improved until finally we got something we couldn't improve on anymore, and it's the final product. I'm telling you, it's great. So don't be afraid to grab this frame, because it's probably gonna be the last tricopter frame you'll ever need, because it's so great. It's super strong. I put these through tons of crashes. Some were my fault, some were failing electronics, but you get the point. I mean, I crashed. So the frames have held up completely fine. The G10 is super strong. The only thing I ever had break was a boom. Most time when you hit, like I said, this zip tie right here will snap and the arm will fold back, and nothing ever broke. I haven't even broken a prop on these. But just an example of the difference. Like, here's a normal tricopter frame piece. This is how big the normal one is. Look at the size of this compared to this. It's a huge difference. Like I said, not bashing frames, and just showing you a comparison. This is a pretty well-known frame, FPV manuals, so that's why I just use this one for a comparison. This is a very good build for FPV, because if you did break something, everything comes off very simple. You can just loosen four bolts here, slide the motor mount off, snap the zip ties, slide all electronics off. Take one screw out here, slide the arm off, put a new arm on. It's really simple. This is a perfect FPV tricopter. It's how it should be. It shouldn't be all complicated. This is the frame you'll be getting. It's on myrcbuilds.com. Don't hesitate to buy it. I put it through testing to make sure this is a great frame. As you see my videos, all my tricopter videos, I was using this frame. Well, I wanted something different, and it was just a great chance to beta test a new frame and help develop something. And if you see my videos, I fly pretty hardcore, so you know that you're going to get a quality product that wasn't just built with one simple idea of, I'm going to do one thing and that's it, and never ever try to update it. This was gone through many generations, and finally to create a great product. So thanks for watching, and check it out on myrcbuild.com.